So today's Transfiguration Sunday has these two stories. And I want to ask you to think for a second. Have you ever seen or experienced some kind of transfiguration-like experience? Just want you to think about that for a second. Have you ever seen or experienced some kind of transfiguration? Well, I would challenge you. There's probably some of you who are saying, well, maybe, and probably several of you are saying, well, no. But I would challenge you to think through that again. Have you ever seen, for example, a pregnant woman's face? They change. Have you ever been on had a mountaintop experience yourself? And when I think about that, I think about like going to church camp or hearing a piece of music that moved you so much that you got goosebumps or found yourself weeping. Have you ever fallen in love or seen somebody who's just in the process of falling in love? Have you ever seen an experience happen to somebody that is so moving and so profound that they are changed? Again, I think we all experience something like that at some point, seeing it in somebody else or experiencing it ourselves. And to me, a lot of what that is about is uncovering layers of truth. So let me dig into that a little bit more. You know those, I'm sure you all have seen a prism, right? And until you've seen a prism, you think the light around us is what color? Yellow. Jasmine's just saying that to be contradictory. Yellow. Okay, for the rest of you, what color do we usually think the light is? White, thank you. Okay. But to take the prism, and what do you discover? It's all colors, right? So the layer that we saw, whether it be yellow or white, the layer of light that we see is not the whole story. And I would not say that it's wrong. It's just not the whole story. The whole story is much more complicated. Yes, the light is white. It looks that way. But the reason it's white is because it's got all these colors in it. Okay, think about atoms. Do you remember the first time that somebody showed you an image of an atom and explained to you that atoms are actually mostly space? You know, I mean, they're really mostly space, right? The parts of an atom are teeny, teeny, tiny, and most of an atom is made up of space. Yet I look at you and I see solid. Right? I see solid, but the truth is we are not solid. We are mostly space. A layer of uncovering. I can give you a lot more examples like that, but we know this to be true. Have you ever seen those pictures where you start really small, there's a video out where you start looking down on somebody's hand. And then the camera zooms out, and you go from the hand to the body to the house to the city to the country to the world, and then you are zooming out into space, and pretty soon you just see stars, and you go farther and farther, and then the video reverses, and you come zooming back, and then you go into the hand. And first you see a hand, and then you see cells, and then you see, you get closer until you see atoms, and guess what? It looks just like the stars. I mean, it's amazing, the space and stuff. Layers of uncovering. I think the Transfiguration is like that. It's seeing things in a different way. Getting a glimpse of a different layer of reality. And again, it's not that the first layer that you see isn't real. It is real. But there's other layers to the reality. And when that other layer of the reality includes God, It can shift your entire perspective. I think about the difference between how people of faith experience life and how people who don't have faith experience life. And for people of faith what did I say? But for people who don't have faith, their experience of life is events, right? But if you can see with the eyes of faith, you can see, for example, that creation is made of beauty, that there is a guiding hand, a loving hand that has enabled it to take place. You see that the events in our lives have love behind them, and that love travels with us through those events. You experience things that happen differently. You experience God's love and God's presence guiding you, teaching you, encouraging you. It's a different layer. Is it not to say that those events aren't also just events? No, I mean, there's just different layers. And again, the Transfiguration to me is seeing those different layers. Does that mean it's easy? And I would say no, and not at all. My experience of seeing things at different layers is that it's hard. Because when you experience God, like in a mountaintop experience, or when you have an event that really changes you, it can adjust or sometimes swing around completely your perspective on life. It challenges your thinking. It challenges the way that you walk in this world. It challenges the way you see things. And so to come back to what was before, or where you were before, is especially hard. To come down from the mountaintop and to re-enter life is not easy. I think about Moses. He's up on this mountain with God. And at the end, he brings down the 10 Commandments. And who does he bring them to? He brings them to a people who've been messing up while he's been gone. You know, they're worshiping idols, there's chaos, there's all sorts of stuff coming. And he has been brought back into the world. Do you think he wanted to stay on the mountain? Of course he wanted to stay on the mountain. I would want to stay on the mountain, stay with God, but that's not what happened. Same with Jesus. He has this transfiguration moment with Elijah and Moses, and he's there, and the disciples see his glory, and he is transformed, and he has that experience of being with God. And then he comes down, and what does he do? Can he go and share that experience with people? No. Instead, he has to heal. And he has to yell at people, like the Pharisees, in the temple. And he has to teach. And he has to hold the hands of people who are hurting, who are suffering. It's hard. I remember as a child having this experience. I was about 6 years old. And again, I think we want those experiences, but sometimes they don't go as we expect. So I'm a child, and like I said, I was about 6, and I was squeezing my eyes tight shut, really hard. And I said, please God, please God, please God, I really want to see an angel. Just show me an angel. Please God, I really want to see an angel. And I opened my eyes, and whether it was because I was squeezing my eyes too hard, or because, hope brings about amazing things, or because I have a really active imagination for a 6-year-old, or whether it actually happened, I saw this bluish haze in the corner of the room. My reaction? To shut my eyes immediately back again and say, please God, take it away. I didn't actually mean it. Take it away. Okay, it was terrifying for me. And I think we saw that with the disciples, right? They hear God's voice, and what do? They fall on their faces. They're freaked out. And Jesus says, get up, it's okay, you don't have to be afraid. But I think we have those experiences. The reality is, none of us sees all of reality. None of us does. You think about, history books in the news, for example, and we know that every book written is written from a perspective. And every news story told is told from a perspective. That's why we disagree so much. None of us grasps the whole truth. We don't. Paul says it like this: for we know in part and we prophesy in part. But when completeness comes, what is in part will disappear. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became an adult, I put the ways of childhood behind me. For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror, but then we will see face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. But again, each layer is a challenge for us. Seeing the bigger picture or seeing things in different ways is not easy. We have these mountaintop experiences, and then God calls us to use them, to have them empower us to do the work of the world. I want to read you a quote from Henry Drummond, who's a Scottish theologian. He said this: "God does not make the mountains in order to be inhabited. God does not make the mountaintops for us to live on the mountaintops. It is not God's desire that we live there. We only ascend to the heights to catch a broader vision of the earthly surroundings below. But again, we don't live there. We don't tarry there. The streams begin in the upland, but these streams descend quickly to gladden the valleys below." I love that. The streams begin in the upland, but these streams descend quickly to gladden the valleys below. Those moments of transformation, of transfiguration, those mountaintop moments, those moments when we see differently, or we see anew, or our vision is expanded, when we are transformed, when we have those highs that God gives us of life, those times are given to us to empower us to descend to the valleys below, to do the work that God calls us to do, to be God's people in the world, sharing love, sharing vision, sharing hope. I want to read you a poem that's written by Christian Lyman about an experience with the larger vision. And it may be hard to grasp this at first, but it's called From a Window. "Incurable and unbelieving in any truth but the truth of grieving, I saw a tree inside a tree, rise kaleidoscopically as if the leaves had livelier ghosts. I pressed my face as close to the pain as I could get, to watch that fitful, fluent spirit that seemed a single being undefined, or countless beings of one mind, haul its strange cohesion beyond the limits of my vision, over the house heavenwards. Of course I knew those leaves were birds. Of course that old tree stood exactly as it had and would. But why should it seem fuller now? And though a man's mind might endow even a tree with some excess of life to which a man seems witness, that life is not a life of men. And that is where the joy came in." Again, a vision of something beyond us. And I think we are all given the opportunity to have those. We're given the opportunity to have those when we really listen to each other, when we hear incredible music and allow it to take us over, when we see works of art and spend time together, when we enjoy the sun and go for hikes. We are given an opportunity to breathe in the beauty that God has given us, to experience those mountaintop experiences, to be transformed. But we are not invited to stay there. We are called to take that into the world with us. We are not called to be monks. We are not called to isolate and alienate ourselves. We are called to go into the world and do the work of the world. The good news is, in the midst of that God is not just on the mountaintops. And God is not just in those transformation moments. And I think as we sit in those transformation moments, we can work on the gift of seeing that all around us all the time. Seeing the God in one another. Seeing God in the beauty, listening to God in the music. experiencing that support and that care, even when we're in the valley. So take strength from the mountaintops, but live in the valleys and plains. Take joy from the mountaintops so that you might be able to see God in the mountains and plains as well. Allow yourselves to be transfigured so that you might transform the world. Amen.